Hello, James. It's lovely to have you here today in my dining room, face to face. I'm just going to introduce you a little bit for anybody that doesn't know you. So this section is called The Original Gangster. And I just want to reassure everybody watching that you're not moonlighting as a violent criminal mastermind.
Not today.
Not today, only on Sundays. But that it really refers more to you as being the father figure of the development of dementia activism in Scotland. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a wee minute. You are a brilliant photographer. You are a fantastic writer. You're an award winner. You have chaired the Scottish Dementia Working Group, which you were a founding member of, chaired that for 6 years. And you were also a vice chair. And you're a member of the Scottish Dementia Alumni. And you've become a very familiar face to all of the staff working at the Trust. We used to love your weekly visits with your big rucksack full of books. Everybody looked forward to you coming in and seeing what literary delights you had in your rucksack. And any of the books that didn't find a good home straight away were put into the James McKillop library, which we established in one of the offices in your honour. So, as I said, you've become quite an integral part of the Trust. You have been involved in lots of different things with us. So you've been speaking at events and conferences, you've been involved in research, and you've developed and written some of the peer-to-peer resources that the Trust funded. So just wanted to ask, do you remember how you first heard about the Trust or how you first got involved with the Trust?
Well, in Glasgow, there was a yearly exhibition from charities and other businesses at the LCT, and most years I managed to get along to see what was happening in the world. And I came across the LCT stall, and somebody, I can't remember who, but somebody engaged me and told me about the work, and it quite impressed me. And again, the sort of eagerness of the staff. So it's too far back now to remember exactly, but somehow I got involved, and I've done quite a bit of work with them over the years. It's been a really enjoyable experience. I've never met such a dedicated, lovely band of people.
Oh, that's really nice of you to say. Well, I mean, you've been pretty dedicated yourself. I think we've called on your expertise many, many times, and I'm glad that you were at, I think it's the gathering, the big thing, the charity thing at the SECC. I'm really glad that you went along that day and that somebody managed to, encourage you to get involved with the Trust.
So am I.
Yeah, because your expertise has been so important to us over the years and developing our programs. And I've mentioned a few of the projects that you've been involved with over the years. What has it been like for you to work alongside a funding organisation?
It was new, exciting, and obviously I approached it with a bit of trepidation, because I said, a new area, a new field. What would it like working? Because I hadn't worked for a long time. So I was gently eased in, as I said. Staff were fully supportive. So I get eased into that, and again, that encouraged me to go that extra mile in helping them.
And you're still really involved in doing a lot of things as well. And one of the things that you were quite deeply involved in was the publication of the Loud and Clear report, and that detailed the experiences of people with dementia becoming influencers and activists in Scotland over the last 2 decades. And of course, you were one of the key people who started that off. Do you have any advice for anybody with dementia who is interested in getting more involved with activism?
I think getting a diagnosis of any sort of dementia, they're devastated, they're shocked, and in fact, the whole world has been put in a tumble dryer. And so what I would advise is meeting people at the same stage of illness as yourself, because you might think your life's over, but it's not. Your old life is over, but a new life beckons, and you can see other people realise they're just like you, they're ordinary human beings that have developed an illness, and go to where they have meetings, just tea and chat, and get to know the lie of the land. And then if you feel you want to be involved in something special, look for a campaigning group, because you might have something that they're desperately needing. You don't know. And even if you don't have, sometimes even your vote counts. Maybe a proposal comes up, yes or no, and your vote could go towards getting the right course laid out.
That's great advice.
So again, I didn't mention, a lot of people lose their confidence, as I did once. So meeting with others can build it back up again.
Yeah. Now, you've been all over Scotland. Anytime you go on holiday, you've taken, information leaflets, and you're driving with dementia booklets, and left it in GP surgeries and community centres and anywhere, that you think it might be useful. You've really helped to raise awareness of dementia and to challenge stigmatising language around dementia. Do you think that the work of the Trust over the last 9 years has helped to change how people view people with dementia?
Very much so. They've allowed people with potential to bring it to fruition, and we've seen that in the booklets that have been published. It's helped to raise awareness that people with dementia shouldn't be written off. They should be encouraged to do what they can and helped.
Yeah, and those booklets have helped a huge amount of people, and they've been used as well in universities and in different practices as well. Allied health professionals are using those booklets as well to improve their practice. So that's fantastic.
I would like to say Life Changes Trust has made life better for an awful lot of people in Scotland. And that's including carers, that if the person gets involved in projects, it brightens their life, and it takes some of the strain off the carer, because carers are badly neglected.
Yeah.
So it helps, and indirectly helps them as well.
Can I ask you just one last question, James? Do you have any personal favourite memories of being a part of the Life Changes Trust?
Yes, there's one that sticks out in my mind, and even though I've got memory problems, this will never fade. During the COVID, just about everybody in the world was affected, and in the UK there was a complete lockdown. So you couldn't have anybody in your house, not even your relatives. You couldn't visit people in hospital unless you could look through the window of a care home and just wave to them. So I became 80 later that year, and again I couldn't have a party, couldn't even have my children visit me. So, and then to my utter surprise, I got a booklet from Life Changes Trust. The staff members had written something for me and put in their photograph, and I was very humbled by people. They were dealing with their own problems, and yet they thought of me to do this thing. And then I said, tears came to my eyes. So somebody thought it was worth something.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, we enjoyed doing that, and there was no way we were going to let your 80th birthday go past quietly. I'm glad you enjoyed that. That's a really nice memory to share. Thank you.
I said, I've got no memory of my 80th apart from that.
Well, that's lovely. I'm getting quite emotional now, I think. Well, James, listen, it's been absolutely lovely to have you here today. And like I said, it's even nicer to have you here in person, having a cup of tea in the dining room. And thank you very much for all of your work over the years. It's been an absolute privilege to work with you. It's been a privilege to be your friend for the last 6 years. And I hope we'll be friends for a very long time to come. And thank you very much for your time this morning.
I've enjoyed being here, and it must have been a pleasure for you meeting me.
Oh, aye, absolutely. No doubt. Thank you, James. Yeah, I think that just about fits, doesn't it? I think this one's a bit small for my head. It's got sharks on it as well. So if you were a gangster, what would your gangster name be, James?
The Tartan Terror.
The Tartan Terror. That's a good one. I don't know.